Good afternoon, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here in the weather office with another update on the tropics. This time we are taking a look at Hurricane Oscar for this afternoon on the 19th of October at around 12:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we're looking at the latest satellite imagery here, looking at Oscar. And as we can see, the system did show signs of organization last night, and unfortunately, that had led to a surface low to develop underneath all of this deeper convection. We have southerly winds here, we have northeasterly and easterly winds here, we have northwesterly winds down here, and there are westerlies happening on the southern side of the circulation, which means this is now a closed surface low. And in more recent satellite imagery, we are even seeing hints of a little bit of an eye-like future trying to develop here on the deeper convection plot. In the last few frames, you can see this trying to wrap all the way around. You can see it right about in here, trying to wrap all the way around, but it's having a little bit of a hard time to doing that because we have a little bit of drier air that is trying to sneak around the system. Right now in the immediate vicinity, we are not seeing much in the way of drier air, but we also have some of these banding-like futures that are beginning to develop on the western side, which is a sign that there's not much deep layer shear to contend with. Maybe a little bit of this drier air right here trying to wrap all the way around into the inner core structure of Oscar. Now, unfortunately, this has led to Oscar to become a hurricane, and the reason why that is if we look at the recon mission from earlier that is just gotten done. This is actually, the plane is now flying out of the system, but they were in there investigating. And on their first pass, they found an initial pressure of 991 millibars. Then it dropped to 989 millibars, kind of stayed steady, and has gone up again. We'll see how this plays out through the rest of the day because this is a very compact system by all means. I mean, you could barely make it out, but there are hurricane force winds here that only extend about 5 or 15 nautical miles out from the circulation, with tropical storm force winds that are also really compact, very small, under about 30 nautical miles out, maybe a little more than that. Which tells us that the system is compact, and compact systems can spin up really, really quickly. And this is no exception. So just be aware that there is going to be brief periods of deepening and brief periods that it doesn't deepen as quickly. And because of that, this is unexpected. We could see unexpected huge intensity bursts with Oscar as it continues to move generally to the west-northwest. And in the recent fix, it's actually moving a little pretty much due west right now. But this is wobbling around a little bit since it's beginning to do its formation of that inner core structure. And in the recent past, they did not find hurricane force winds now. But that does not mean that there's no hurricane force gusts occurring in the circulation. So for right now, Oscar is a Category 1 hurricane with 80-mile-an-hour winds. And this is a look from the National Hurricane Center from its advisory package, showing that winds are, again, at around, this is the maximum sustained wind of 70 knots. That's about 80 miles an hour when you convert it. And the intensity forecast has been updated accordingly and is substantially higher than the previous one because this is the advisory update from Oscar. Actually, if we look at the archives, see what it looked like in their very first discussion. Yeah, so this is the first update, and you can see it was only at 50 miles an hour this morning. This is that first advisory, and it was Tropical Storm Oscar, so it did get named as early as about 8 o'clock this morning from the National Hurricane Center. Showing us some curved bands. But recently, well, it's now an 80-mile-an-hour hurricane with winds of 80 miles an hour from an intermediate advisory standpoint. So that goes to show you this is the second advisory on this. So right now, when we take a look at the National Hurricane Center cone of uncertainty, let me zoom back in on this so you can see the graphics a little bit more better. And let me take my face off. Oops, not that. There we go. So when we look at Hurricane Oscar here, this is the 2 o'clock advisory. Again, winds 80, moving to the west at about 10 to 12 miles an hour. And yeah, hurricane warnings are issued for the Turks and Caicos Islands, for the southeastern Bahamas. We have a hurricane watch and a tropical storm warning out for eastern Cuba, northeastern Cuba. And the good news here is that this is likely to turn out, well, not soon enough, because this is going to be possibly a hurricane near landfall in Cuba. But the good news is any United States landfall is not expected as this turns out. But this could reorganize up here, maybe into a subtropical storm later on down the road. We'll see what the NHC does with that. This is the 5-day forecast, by the way, on the NHC. And this is the legacy version of that cone of uncertainty, showing us by Wednesday morning, this is going to be out there in the waters of the Atlantic, but could still bring maybe tropical storm force winds on the northwestern side as the wind field is likely to grow a little bit with time. But look at how compact this is. Very small system with tropical storm force winds and hurricane force right here. Actually, about as compact as you can get with a hurricane. It's hard to even believe it's a hurricane. It's, it doesn't look like one, but it is from the National Hurricane Center here. And that's why hurricane warnings have been issued for these islands. So if you're under a hurricane warning, please take this seriously, all right? It doesn't matter if this doesn't or does impact the United States. We have people that do live on these islands in the Turks and Caicos and also eastern Cuba. You, my friends, need to be taking this a little seriously since this is quickly evolving right now. And again, rapid intensity fluctuations are possible. This could theoretically become a one for the concern again, like we had with Milton, not a Cat 5 Hurricane Milton, but could become a more stronger hurricane. And I'll show you that here on the intensity forecast. So this look at the key messages for Hurricane Oscar as of the 2 o'clock advisory, the special advisory here. Oscar is now expected to bring hurricane conditions to portions of the southeastern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, and eastern Cuba during the next day or so. A hurricane warning has now been issued for those locations. Oscar is expected to produce a dangerous storm surge on the Turks and Caicos Islands beginning this evening. Locally, heavy rainfall is possible across the Turks and Caicos Islands and the southeastern Bahamas later today and tonight. These rains are expected to spread to eastern Cuba on Sunday. So I want to make it really clear here that we are looking at some big-time storm surge, dangerous breaking waves, because again, this is a hurricane. We have rough surf expected with this system. All right, and of course, again, the flooding rains will be a huge issue. Now, looking at the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds are as is. We don't have any storm surge products. I don't think they issue them for foreign countries for some reason and only for the United States. I don't know why. But that's what they do. And you can see there is a 100% chance of tropical storm force winds. And I think this island down here, let's see. What island? Yeah. This is Iguana, Matthewtown area. That's this area. And in fact, if we take off the satellite, let me take that off. We could actually do the overlays here of hurricane products. So let's actually do that. So, okay, this did not update yet. So we don't have the latest update on Radar Omega. But you get the idea. Matthewtown here on Iguana Island with a 100% chance of tropical storm force winds. And of course, in eastern Cuba, some portions there have a 70 to almost 80% chance of tropical storm force winds. So this has evolved pretty quickly. And that's why we're live streaming on this. I was going to make a video, but I'm like, yeah, you just don't know. they might upgrade this a little further. So that's why I am live streaming this for a reason. And tropical storm force winds do arrive by late tonight in portions of Matthewtown on that island there of, let me turn that off, a little alarm. On Matthewtown on one of the Bahama Islands. So by tonight, you're going to have tropical storm force winds. And then if this continues to intensify, this could end up becoming a stronger system than just this. You could see hurricane force winds tonight, depending on how this all evolves in real time. Definitely hurricane force wind gusts cannot be ruled out. And then the rest of the areas here by 2 a.m. on Sunday. And then this really slows down. It comes to a crawl here near the coast of Cuba, okay? Near the coast of Cuba by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, okay? Now, let's look at the rainfall forecast here from the National Hurricane Center, and let me zoom out for this one. There's my lovely face. So you can see right here, there is a risk for 4 to 6 inches of rainfall for eastern Cuba, as well as the Bahama Islands, the Turks and Caicos Islands, looking to see about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall out of this system. This could go up a little more, just depending on the current state of Oscar, which, by the way, this did not update. I just realized it still says Tropical Storm Oscar. So I don't know if they updated it on their thumbnail. Let me see. Nope, they did not. So this is a hurricane. As you can see, they will update this hopefully soon. And right now, I'm thinking that some areas right in here could have up to 8 inches of rainfall. So yeah, rainfall is an impact with a system like this. So now the question really remains, I'm not going to show you all the models because scarily enough, the models are not picking this up very well at all. And I'm being honest, none of the models saw this coming. Even the GFS, I think only the Icon model had a better handle on it. And we'll be looking at the Icon model in a little bit here. But you can see the track forecast on the spaghetti plot does show this, again, continuing to move generally westward near some of these islands of the Turks and Caicos Islands in the next 24 hours. And then it makes this abrupt turn to the right, and so it goes north and then to the northeast. And yes, areas like, Bermuda, again, Bermuda is in a possible strike zone here with some of the models, the spaghetti plot encircling the Bermuda area, and this would be in about 5 to 6 days. But of course, depending on how fast this moves, this is going to slow down considerably, though, once it gets closer and closer here to, say, Cuba, before that turn to the north actually occurs. All right, so now the intensity forecast is very uncertain with this. In fact, some models do show that this is going to weaken. Look at this. Some of the spaghetti plots show this weakening. Some models indicate that it's going to strengthen a little bit more. Whereas our LGEM model right up here shows a major hurricane potentially. Yeah, with a small system, that is not surprising to see. Not saying that it will happen or won't happen, but it is in the realm of possibility given how quickly this has evolved. All right, if it goes through another burst of intensification, this could become a Cat 2 in no time. All right, therefore, my intensity forecast is a little high here. Okay, so I'm now predicting a 85 to 90 mile an hour hurricane before it does begin to weaken after 24 hours because of the wind shear, because of the drier air. There's a cold front to the north of the system. We got a ridge of high pressure. So that's going to usher in some drier air onto the system. And therefore, most of the model guidance does indicate that Oscar will begin to weaken in about, say, 36 hours or so. And that's what the NHC explicitly shows. But again, I cannot stress enough that this is generous because of what we're seeing right now. Some of the models are showing explicit intensification here, showing a Cat 2, maybe a Category 3 hurricane. But that's probably of our outliers, especially this one up here is definitely our outlier. This is probably in the more realm of possibility. High in Cat 1, low in Category 2, which again gives us our 15th name storm, folks. 15th name storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. And yes, that is now above average. Okay, we have Nadine. Let's take a quick look at Nadine actually from Tropical Tidbits. Actually, let's go to the National Hurricane Center and look at Nadine really quickly. Here's what we have. There's Oscar right there with 80-mile-an-hour winds. Let me zoom in on this so you can see a little bit better. Actually, yeah, right there. There we go. Perfect. And then there's Nadine. So we have two named storms and another hurricane, believe it or not. And Nadine is going to be has made landfall over Belize. So pretty large wind field here on the northern side with tropical storm force winds. Tropical storm warnings are in effect. This is going to be weakening as it moves into Mexico, the country of Mexico, that is. It's going to be moving over Guatemala briefly, then over to Mexico as a tropical depression. And additional rainfall with this system, you could see up to a foot of rainfall in some of the tall mountainous terrain areas. All right, so keep that in mind, that even so Nadine is not a hurricane, it is also not a non-impactful system. It is going to bring a lot of impacts, and it already is. So keep that in mind. Nadine really impacting the Belize area as our northern Belize. Oh, wait. Let me make sure I get this correctly. Yeah, northern Belize, Mexico, Guatemala, those three countries, all right, in Central America. So, yeah, make sure you are taking that into consideration because we do have two named storms. And let's look at our ACE score because our ACE score is only going to go up and up and up and up. And that's because, well, we have Oscar to contend with. And if Oscar becomes a more intense hurricane, our ACE score is going to be up even higher. We're already well above the average, and we are in the top 12 busiest hurricane seasons ever on record. All right, I want to make that clear. Okay. But also, if we look at our track history here, we have had quite a few systems. We had, they don't give us a name, but so-and-so, Alberto. We had Chris, Beryl, Francine, Helene. Was that Helene? No, wait. Yeah, that was Helene, Debbie, and goodness gracious, Milton. And now we have Oscar out there. So we have had so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 landfalls and 9 with Nadine, and we may have 10 landfalls. 10 landfalls, folks, with 15 named storms. Yeah, and there it is right there. 15 named storms, 10 hurricanes, by the way, 4 major hurricanes. So overall, if we get Oscar to become a major hurricane, that would be 5 major hurricanes of the Atlantic hurricane season. So not far behind the predictions. And guess what? We have another favorable environment coming by the time we go into, say, late October, early November. We actually need to take a look at that really quickly. Because, yeah, maybe more after Oscar. Maybe there could be more development after that. And as we go forward, look at this. So let's go to Model Lab. And let's go to our Euro model. Let's go to this. Go to full screen again. Yeah, this is pretty concerning. Look at all of this upward motion here over the Atlantic basin. So we're starting to get some signs here. We could be moving into a more favorable environment. Oscar, by the way, is forming out of this area. So pretty, not very conducive. And yet, Oscar is a Category 1 hurricane. We have Nadine that formed right over here. And this is part of another convective coupled Kelvin wave. And then, again, more favorable environment coming by late October into early November. And yeah, we have seen some busy early Novembers before. So we are definitely not going to take our eyes off of that. In fact, if we look at another parameter here, let's go to the map, velocity potential. Let's go to here. Let's go to this. And so this is over the next 7 days. And you could see Another favorable environment coming. So sinking motion here. We got the MJO moving back into this area eventually, some rising motion. But look at this. By November the 2nd, a convective coupled Kelvin wave paired up with the MJO with all this green, going to really lead to more active period coming, possibly through the middle of November. And I think this will be the last opportunity for the hurricane season. You can see it right here, and right here. Last opportunity in the Central Atlantic, in the Caribbean, more likely in the Caribbean, to get more development. And we'll see, do we get more of those sneaky-like systems like we had with Milton? That is to be announced. But looking at our MJO RMM index, you can see, oh gosh, yeah, very active MJO right now in progress. You can definitely see the bent look to that right here. This is where we're at right now. So this is going to be moving back into early November, back into phase 1 and 8. So that's back over Africa. So very robust MJO signal from both of the models here, even from the GFS model indicating a really robust RMM-based MJO activity coming. And so, yeah, we're not done. I don't think we're done. I think we're going to get 2 or 3, maybe 4 more named storms after Oscar before our season finally wraps up. And here's another look at it here from the CHI EWP Ensemble Weather Prediction Forecast. Again, sinking motion now. Look at all this upward motion by early. Yeah, this is by early November. Yeah, this is early to mid-November, right? All in here. And this is all upward motion. You can kind of get an idea. This is all propagating. These are little thumbnails of the equator. Western Pacific over here. The Atlantic is over here. The East Pacific is over here. And so, yeah, you can kind of draw an imaginary line of all of this upward motion that is going to be propagating eastward. And yes, while it's not busy now in the Atlantic, the GFS model's not picking up much in the way of tropical activity. I can tell you right now that we'll have to just keep an eye little bit by little bit. Yeah, there's a GFS picking up that system a little bit better on its 12Z model, but going forward, maybe another system out here maybe might try to develop by late October. And then we will just have to see what all happens here with all of this Central American gyre activity. Maybe another system trying to develop. Actually, yeah, that would be kind of part of that monsoonal kind of gyre-like system. Large wave out there. But of course, the GFS is not the best model. It's somewhat the best model to forecast, the tropics. But what's really going to be active, sorry to take our focus off the Atlantic, is definitely going to be the Western Pacific, possibly a few typhoons in the making there. One intense one there at 946 millibars, maybe 938 millibars, before that gets kind of ingested into the westerlies. So yeah, very busy Western Pacific on the way over the next probably over the next week or two. But in the meantime, we are keeping an eye on Oscar as that does try to develop. Let's look at the latest satellite imagery here to see if it has developed any further. Just give it time. It's loading in. Yeah, I do agree, Random Hurricane. I do agree. I know, Liquid Water. I know this season has been nothing but surprises. And I did mention we would probably get a tropical storm. I did predict this to become named, perhaps. Possibly. But man, I just feel terrible. I just did not see this. I did not see this coming at all. It's really disappointing. It's really bad on my part. Yes, it did, Dark Steve, it did. Ernesto was not a fish storm. Ernesto was not a fish storm at all. By the way, if you guys do like the tropical weather updates on the YouTube channel, we may have to delay our United States weather updates now for a little longer, probably not until mid-November, because again, our favorable period coming up. We'll take day by day at a time. But right now, it could be getting really busy. But yeah, this definitely looks like it's trying to organize a little bit more, moving over some of these smaller islands. Cockburn Town, getting that inner core structure, moving over that area. And you can see a banding future really taking note here, really trying to show organization. So yeah, Oscar here, definitely showing signs of organization. Oh yeah, definitely. The Oscar is very small. Oscar is very tiny. It's so small, so tiny. It's a little baby. This hurricane season feels like a fever dream. I agree, Dark Steve. After entering the Caribbean, only after entering the Caribbean seat, they get strong. Well, this did not enter the Caribbean, but yes, Nadine over here has made landfall as a tropical storm. So the icon is right. Yeah, let me look at the icon. I wanted to show you all that. Well, the icon had something early on before it kind of downtrended. I mean, yesterday's 12Z run, yeah, it didn't show much. It did show it like a few days ago. But see, no models have seen this. No models at all. But the icon does try to show us kind of an extratropical, subtropical system moving over Bermuda, but it would be a lot weaker on that run. The GFS also on a weaker end of the scale too. But yeah, we're going to need to watch early November. We could get some late surprise development. I live in the Caribbean and I'm begging for some rain, man. It's been dry since Beryl. Hasn't you haven't had some a lot of rainfall at all. Which is surprising because, La Nina is in place, really starting to show up now. Based on the MJO forecast, it's really active now. It's not in its null phase, and it's starting to get out into its more active phases right now at the moment. And once it gets back into, like, say, phase 1, 2, and 3, which would be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, so probably like on the 5th or the 7th of, say, November, could get really busy. So yeah, right now and the fact that we're seeing Oscar and Nadine in a more unfavorable phase of the MJO is quite elaborate. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm really shocked that these two systems formed. I want to repeat myself, formed in a unfavorable MJO environment. And we will see if we make up for our loss in early September. And even in mid-September-ish, with the lackluster of activity. We'll see if November could really be our last opportunity. Any questions, anybody? Any questions? Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I do these tropical weather updates. I'm not quite ready now to switch my butt over to the United States nation of weather yet. Hopefully I can do that in the middle of November. Probably when I get back from Santa Cruz, because I'm going on a little vacation for a few days away. I go to the coast. But that's not for another month yet. Less than a month, actually. Have you seen a storm intensifying into a hurricane this quickly after forming? Not really, Jackson. Last time I think this is the first time in a while it's done this. And I was like, this is not a hurricane. There's no way this is a hurricane. And I looked at all the discussion. It literally was. No, Bill. I'm going to Santa Cruz. I'm going, actually, let's go to Google Maps really quickly. I'm doing some surveying of the tides because we're supposed to have a king tide, a significant king tide, actually. So I'm actually going to go here. I will be there on the 16th. Hey, if you guys want to meet me there at the beach, any local people, I'm going to be over here doing some surveying with the drone. So I'm going to be doing some drone flying over here, just tracking down the tide, doing some time-lapsing of the tide as well, because this is a very active spot to see how the tide changes in the San Lorenzo River. So we're staying here, actually, at the Marriott Sol Hotel, and all I have to do is walk about a half a mile onto the beach, walk this way, and set up shop over here in the San Lorenzo River. And so that's where I will be on the 15th. I will get there Friday night or Friday afternoon. We'll be there Saturday, and we'll be coming back home on Sunday. Making a little vacation. Yeah, I know, Tyler. It did form quickly. And Tyler M, it could be the Tyler M storm. It's a small Tyler M storm. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm shocked, Tyler. I got up this morning and like, there's no way this is a hurricane. There's no way it's a hurricane at all. I just bought the DJI Air 3S. Really, James? Nice. It always floods in Santa Cruz. Yeah, that's why I'm going there. So my plan, again, is to go to Santa Cruz, do some photography, video feed. I don't think I'm going to be streaming live on it because it's not what the channel is about. I'm not a whole title channel here. But we'll be doing the drone. We'll be doing some time lapsing that day of the tide coming in from extreme low tide to extreme high tide. Because based on our tide forecast, we're looking at king tide. On the 16th, Saturday will be, I think, like 7 feet. 7 feet at like 10:05 in the morning, something like that. And then it gets to be negative 1.5 feet at like, say, 4 something in the afternoon. So I'm excited for that. To go on a little vacation. I deserve one at this point. I do. But yes, Tyler M., how are you doing, buddy? You can catch a wave when you're done with science. No, I don't want to get wet. No. I'm not gonna. I don't mind going into the ocean. It's salty. I don't like getting salt on my body. Besides, it's gonna be too cold at the beach. Unless there's like a offshore wind event, then we get some good offshore winds. But you can't forecast a month out in advance right now. You just can't. Actually, speaking of that, let's look at our overall weather pattern in the North Pacific, which, by the way, big system going up into the Bering Sea there of Alaska. But yeah, models have done some weird things already, so it's hard to say what is actually going to end up happening. Looks like it is going to be pretty mild, though. We're not seeing much in the way of hot weather anymore. Goodbye, heat. Goodbye, heat. It is nice knowing you. Man, if this could bomb out right here, this could bomb out much closer to California. I would really love seeing that. Love seeing a bombing cyclone right off the California coast. You're sick? Oh no, Tyler. I hope you get better, bud. But yeah, this is a look at the system right now. I did see recon, yes. This is the recon mission from earlier. This is their mission, and they have found pressures that were really low. 989, 990 millibars. Yeah, lots of records have been broken. I do agree. Man, we have almost 250 people and chat is so dead. Actually, since we don't have as big of a audience today, I'm going to actually disable slow mode so you guys could chat away. Chat away. But let me make sure that... Yeah, there we go. So slow mode will be disabled. So do you guys have any questions? I did see the recon mission, though. A random hurricane tracker. Oh, all right. Understandable, Chase. But yeah, a surprise system, a really big surprise. And again, we'll see if this actually is able to intensify. Looks like we don't have much vigorous convection. Maybe we do a little bit on that northwestern side. But it is definitely a compact system. When will we see snow? I think it's going to be a bad winter. Tyler, well, when looking at the United States for a map here, it is not going to be no fall-like weather anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now. Going to be really warm because you're in South Dakota, so temperatures in your area will be overnight in the mid-70s, according to the GFS, and this has been consistent on previous model runs. It's been showing in more recent model runs. Actually, this is the 12Z. I was using the 06Z run, sorry. But still showing some really warm conditions for a while. Maybe another little mini Arctic blast, but I don't see anything in the way of winter weather at all. I would say probably not until middle of November. You might see some snow, maybe a little sooner than that, but really going to be dry, very dry. Not much eventful weather going on there at all. It's been in the upper 60s, lows in the 40s. We were in a frost warning the other day. Oh yeah, you guys had some cooler weather, but that's only temporarily because if we look at the CDAS, or the air temperature here, to kind of take our focus off the tropics really quickly, the last 30 days have been extremely warm for your area. In a monthly average, you've had temperatures around 5 to almost 9 degrees above normal. in a 30-day average. That is pretty significant for this time of the year. That is pretty unusual. You don't see temperatures that warm like that. And this is the 30-day average, and it's been in the low to mid 60s for this time of the year in the last month. So not really good. Not really good at all for people that want winter-like. And in the last 7 days, it has been near average, but a big warm-up is coming. It's going to warm up for you, unfortunately. If we go to the Climate Prediction Center, you could even see this too. No cool weather whatsoever anytime soon. You have a very likely chance of seeing above average temperatures and cool weather out west, actually. I'm going to love, I guess, the late part of October. We're, in fact, going to see temperatures in the mid-60s in late October, which is about 10 to 15 degrees below average. We don't start seeing our average temperatures until in the mid-60s until like middle of November. So we are a couple of weeks ahead as far as where we should be for this time of the year. And if we look at the Almanac, this is what I like to look at. And of course, this is not free to use. But you can see over the United States in October of this day, October the 19th, the average in South Dakota near Sioux Falls should be about 58 degrees this time of the year. Instead, it is going to be in the 80s. That's ridiculous. In the 80s, potentially. Overnight lows in the mid-30s. So yeah, being in the mid to upper 40s at night is chilly, but that's well above average. And doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon, perhaps. So probably a warm Halloween, or a very mild one at least for South Dakota standards. Tyler, right now, based on the SOI, when I measure El Nino or La Nina, I look at the SOI. I don't really look at sea surface temperatures because the Southern Oscillation Index is done with air pressure and the circulation. When you get a very strong positive value in the 90-day average, which we need positive 7, right here is 7, we need to see this way up here for it to be declared as a La Nina. We're right around positive 1 to positive 2 right now. The last 90-day average is at positive 1 or plus 1.9 on an average. And when we look at our contribution, daily contribution, it is swinging between positive and negative. It is not consistently in positive here. So the La Nina pattern has not really set up just yet. And we're waiting for that. It should start setting up here, hopefully in the month, the rest of October into November. But let me see the low-level winds, and that can kind of give us an idea. So yeah, we are seeing westerly winds right now, or easterly winds that are pretty enhanced in the deep tropics here of the Pacific. And then they wane again, and we get more westerly wind bursts, perhaps. I don't think we're ever going to see cold weather ever again. It's a possibility, but you will see cold weather. The weather is going to get colder. The polar vortex also is going to be strengthening too, so that might be partially why this is all going on. But if we look at our weeklies, you can see how things do switch around a little bit in the United States. In fact, I don't recommend using this very much. This is the extended version of the Euro, by the way. This goes all the way out until like late November, early December. And this gives us kind of an idea what our temperatures are going to look like. And on this model, through the middle of November, it is going to be really warm. You can see exceptionally warm right around Halloween, perhaps. And this is believable. This is in about 13 to 20 days out. So a possibility of this occurring with temperatures that are going to be well above average, which, by the way, Tyler, That's in the 20s above average. So 18 to 22 degrees above normal for your temperatures, according to this model. And then it finally turns around. The cooler weather comes in. But this is more kind of going across the United States. We're not seeing any Arctic intrusions going far south here. And the warm-up returns. It does return back again. So essentially, it could be pretty warm all the way through the middle of the month of November, unfortunately. The MJO is in the Western Pacific right now, Joe. At the moment, if we look at this, it is in phases 5 and 6 right now. So in the Maritime Continent and the Western Pacific is where it is at right now. So will Oscar affect Jamaica? No, I do not see it. Natalie, I don't see it going towards Jamaica right now. None of the models have it going that way. It looks like most of the models now indicate that this is going to turn northward eventually. Now, this could change based on the latest evolution, but I'm pretty confident that this is not going to be impacting Jamaica at all. Jamaica does not look to get impacted. No, Joe, not really a threat to Florida. So that's the good news right there. No threat to Florida with this one, but that doesn't mean we stop talking about this because, again, Cuba, you got the Bahamas. There are people that live on these islands. People live here, and that could be you that is watching this live stream. So keep that in mind. Do you guys have any more questions? Any questions at all? Be sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. By the way, I got some good compliments on my logo. I'm glad you guys really like my logo very much. Yeah, for Cuba, it could get ugly considering Cuba is without power. Yeah, probably that eastern Cuba area, or actually portions of western Cuba from that system. By the way, I do have some good news that I wanted to share with you all. It does not look like the last two. When I was pointing to the Promethean board, some people didn't really like that, and it did not have a good turnout engagement rate. So, and I gotten some compliments from my close friends on Discord saying we like the old David back. We like the old style. So I'm probably not going to stand in front of Promethean board anymore, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. It's perfectly fine. That's why we did the alpha version, a test version of those two videos. People didn't really enjoy that very much, it seemed like. People like the style, but that's from my loyal fans. I've always liked you changing things up every now and then. True, Tyler. You know what? What I will do probably is two videos out of the week because I'm at school Monday through Thursday. I'll probably do that. Probably will do it on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Most likely, I'll do it on Wednesdays and Thursdays of every week where I stand up in front there. Oh, just to get my diploma, Tyler. Just to get my diploma, and then once I get my diploma, hopefully work doesn't get in the way, I'll go off to college and get my meteorological degree. And Tyler M will be going with me to college. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Tyler. You know I'm kidding with you. We do need to talk more often, though. We got to talk a lot more. We really do on Discord. I know you're busy, though. I know you're really busy with work. I would really like to talk to Braden more, but every time I message him, he doesn't answer. He doesn't answer on Discord. But my friend Easy on Discord is helping me with picking out a computer, though, so that's important there in itself. All right, that's good. He's busy with his kid and school too. Oh, okay. Understandable, Tyler. Yeah, I kind of figured he was really, really busy. Because you and him, you pretty much live together. That's why I always ask you to see if you can contact him, for me. Because you can probably get in contact with Braden before I can, then you can let Braden know that, hey, David's been trying to contact you, So, yeah. But we'll see what Oscar does as it moves further west. Right now, it is trying to develop an inner core structure. Oh, so you are not with him anymore, Tyler. Okay. You guys are best friends, but you're not living in the same area, so you're an hour apart now. Okay, because last time we talked, actually talked, you were going to be moving with him. Moving in with him. But maybe that has changed. Oh, okay. You never lived together. Okay, I misheard that then. So you guys are much closer to each other. Speaking of weather there, see what it looks like. Cloudy and nice there. Oh, okay, yeah. 5 minutes apart, but you moved. Man, you're moving a lot. You're migrating. I'm 1,000 miles from David. Yeah, you're pretty far. Most people are pretty far. But actually, Tyler, since I have a little bit of time, I wanted to talk to you really quick on Discord. Are you available for voice chat? Probably not because you're sick and stuff. But I got some cool things to share with you. It's very sunny and nice where I live. That's great to hear, Dark Steve. It's nice here. No more wind. Oh my goodness. We had a serious windstorm yesterday that blew so many of those stinky berries down from the tree. Just laying in bed. All right. 36 minutes to the next advisory. I cannot stay on for another 36 minutes because I have work at 2:30. In fact, in 36 minutes from now, I will be on my way to work. So, yeah. Can't stay on until the next advisory. But I'm thinking it'll probably be 80 miles an hour. Maybe, probably even about 75 to 80. given the recent recon aircraft that was in there. I don't think it's strengthened much more now. But there is more bursts of deep convection, so that might have lowered the pressures a little more. Oh, okay, you can talk via VC. Perfect, Tyler. It will only be really quick, maybe like 5 or 10, about 5 minutes at least, maybe 10 minutes. We are waiting to see what time the storm will start kicking off. Yeah, it's already starting to kick off. There's little itty bitty Oscar. It is a small storm. It is a small storm, but yeah, small storms are not always the best to track. They could be the more unpredictable. It looked like an inner core was trying to form. There was an eye feature about 3 miles in diameter. So a very small eye, very tiny eye. Oscar is forecast to become a major hurricane. What? No. That's not official from the National Hurricane Center. It's only going to be 85 miles an hour in 24 hours. It's not official. So I'm not saying it's going to become a major hurricane. We cannot say that for sure right now. There's more deep convection. There's like a little banding feature right here starting to pop off. Such a tiny system. D-Max might help the system tonight. If the shear stays light, most likely. It's starting to get dark there slowly, so yeah, it definitely going to start helping the system. I do predict we're going to have another burst of deep convection like we had last night. I'll send it in Discord. Yes. Okay, weather alert. Yes. On Tropical Tidbits, you're looking at one outlier model. But it is a possibility. One model. One model shown major hurricane. With the majority at this point showing a hurricane. That's because it's already a hurricane. Yeah, I know Titan, yes. Looking at that, one model. Come on, the LGEM model. The LGEM, I should say. Okay. Well, anyways, I am going to have to head off. Because I have to get ready for work here very soon. Because I have to get to work soon. But if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, folks. Please subscribe. We will be keeping you updated on Oscar if necessary, as this is now a hurricane. Hurricane warnings are out right now for these islands. Please take this seriously. If you're under hurricane warning, hurricane conditions are expected. All right. But anyways, Teresa and everybody else, have a great rest of your day. Please share this, though, and like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's... Oh, wait, no, not tomorrow. I won't see you guys tomorrow because I will be... Maybe I'll have to do something. I'll see. But working tomorrow again. And then my next day off is on Monday, Tuesday. So if not tomorrow, I'll see you back here on Monday. Peace out.